Today I'll be flipping through my 2019 Moleskine sketchbook from 5 years ago, and this is a lot of abstract drawings. There's a lot of organic, tattoo-looking drawings and sketches. And I would say this is one of the sketchbooks that I really have filled in the whole thing pretty much. There's not too many pages that are unfinished. And so I would say this is definitely one of my better sketchbooks because I went through the whole sketchbook with basically filling in everything. And so I did a lot of stippling. There's some cross-hatching, and there's a lot of interesting stuff, I would say, going on in here. And I like a lot of these drawings. Most of the sketchbooks from before 2021, I guess, I don't really like that much. Only in the past year or two, the sketchbooks have been okay. But I do like some of the stuff in here. I did a lot of swirly lines, a lot of squiggly lines bending and going in different directions, looping in on each other. And I need to get back into drawing some of this style, because this is the stage in where I didn't know exactly what I wanted to draw, and so I figured, well, I like drawing, I like putting ink down, so maybe I should make abstract work. Maybe I should just make abstract things until I figure out what I really want to draw. And now, 2024, I kind of know what I want to draw. I like cyberpunk. I like space futuristic art. I like aliens, extraterrestrial things. And so I've moved into that direction. And there's some of that in here. There are some different characters and designs in this sketchbook that kind of represent that. There's also some seascapes, organic plants, mushrooms, and all of that. So I like it. And there's also a bit of a hint of alien language in here. I was at the time thinking about creating some sort of alien language. And so I might have to do that. I might have to make my own language and put it inside of a sketchbook. Sort of like the Codex Seraphinianus, where you read it and the words are just random and they don't really make sense. It's an entire language. So maybe I'll do that. And I also like adding little diagrams. I like putting words, and it makes the drawing first of all make a little bit more sense. And also it's just I like making little funny words or puns put together with a drawing. So I made a few of those. Some of these drawings, they are similar, but you know, if you want to get good at doing something, you have to do it a lot. You have to practice. And some of these, I would say maybe 5 or 10, I really like. They're almost perfect, and the rest are whatever. But you have to make a lot of drawings before you can make the good drawings. So, a lot of pages, a lot of things that I've filled in here. I have a few more sketchbooks that I'll be flipping through. I'm not sure actually. I flipped through quite a few, but I think I still have maybe 8, 9, or 10 sketchbooks to flip through. And I'm also working on about 3 sketchbooks right now that I'll also be flipping through every week. And the next sketchbook is from what year? Probably 2018 or 2019. These are older sketchbooks that I'm flipping through. I also have some mini sketchbooks, some pocket-sized sketchbooks that I really like, which aren't very good, but those are what I started in. I started off small inside of a pocket-sized sketchbook, and then slowly moved into a medium-sized, and then I also got a larger sketchbook, but that takes a little bit too long to fill up, so I'll stick with the medium-sized. This is a 5 by 8, I believe. That's what this sketchbook is. Well, this is a notebook, actually. It's a moleskin notebook because the pages are very thin. It is blank. There is line and dotted moleskin sketchbooks, but this is a notebook. So I go back and forth. Sometimes I'll get a sketchbook, sometimes I'll get a notebook. The notebooks have more pages, but they're thinner and marker bleeds through them easier. So you can't really draw on both sides of the page, which is why I'm just putting one drawing on each page. But with a sketchbook, usually you can put 2 drawings on the same piece of paper. So I used some watercolor. I used a little bit of different colored ink. I used blue here and there. And a lot of these ideas came from music, I would say. Back in 2019, I was listening to a lot of music, finding a lot of different stuff. And then I would take lyrics and kind of get ideas from those and then draw them on the page. A little bit of building, architecture, a cross combination going on. I tried it out in this. I'll be doing some more architecture and building. I really like how that stuff looks, so I'll have to do that. And there's this one page. The stippling, I really do like the pages that are stippled. This is the sketchbook that has the most of that, of where I'm just putting dots down and making clouds and wispy, smoky designs. So I like that. I'll have to do more of that, but it's very time consuming, actually. I mean, drawing an entire page full of dots takes all day pretty much, depending on how fast you go with it. But that's what I would do in class, actually. I would just stipple dots. Sometimes I would do that, and other times I would make more abstract tattoo stuff. But yeah, I really used a lot of dots in here. Now that I'm looking back, and I use dots now, but not like I was back then. I think I was really putting the ink down, putting the dots clumped up together, and now I kind of space them out so it looks like shading, but I could shade a lot better if I used the dots correctly. The drawings would look a lot better right now. So I'll have to do that. There's a lot of cartoon drawings in here as well. I think that I got a lot of inspiration from Adventure Time and that art style, and you can kind of see that in some of these. They're very cartoonish, and I like them. It's kind of a contrast between more hyper detailed stuff and very basic stuff. I like putting basic things, easy, simple drawings, and very detailed stuff together. So it doesn't make sense, or maybe it does. I don't know. So here in the second half of the sketchbook, there's more machines going on. There's some TVs and I like adding little things into the drawings that maybe you have to search for it. I want to make drawings that there's little bits and pieces that are just almost like Easter eggs. They're hidden secrets inside of the drawings, kind of like a treasure map leading you towards some other path. I don't know. But I like creating mystery. I like making drawings that make you wonder. And hopefully these drawings have done that. But mainly, I made these drawings because it's almost like a journey of exploration for me. And when I'm drawing, when I'm creating and putting these ideas down, it lets me learn new things in a small way. On a micro scale, I can learn while drawing and create little worlds on the page. So, anyways, there are some characters in here that I call flower heads, flower people. I haven't drawn them in a while, but basically they're just aliens with flowers on their head that are born with cords and various things coming out of their head. Mostly flowers, flower heads. And I drew some fish. I drew some more doodles. Some of these pages are just doodles. They're not detailed at all. Drew some hats, some pins, some little shovels, and a few animals, a few different creatures. And I also went for a different style, a little bit of a Where's Waldo kind of miniature people drawing. And I've done that in the past few weeks. In the past month, I've drawn a lot of little people in sceneries. And so this is one of those sketchbooks that has that. I think that I'll have to do more stippling combined with miniature people, because I like these. I like the small scale scene. It's like another world. I also drew, I like the brain drawing. That's my favorite probably in the sketchbook, the brain. I like drawing brains. I like drawing, I don't know why. I just like drawing brains and heads, things attached. I can definitely feel these drawings that they're old because I was about 15, 16 when I drew these. So they're a little bit more childish. The ideas are silly, wacky. But I still like doing that. I still like making wacky stuff and combining ideas together that otherwise wouldn't make sense. So I like these. I like the almost childlike creativity about this, the absurdism. So we're nearing the end of the sketchbook here. We're nearing the end. And it gets a little bit more abstract, I would say. I did some markers, some yellow. I didn't use too many colors. Mostly just black and white ink, which is what I like. I like black and white ink. Using different colored markers, it's fun, but I feel like it ruins the drawing sometimes. But what I should do instead is use gray, use a shadowing color. So if I make a machine, if I make a robot, I'll have the sunlight positioned on the top right corner, and then the shadow will be on the bottom left of the robot. And I'll have to do more shading like that, because some of these drawings have that, as you can tell. And I've forgotten to do that. I forgot that things have shadows, things have, so look, I can go back from these sketchbooks and I can learn from myself. It may not be much, but I can learn a little bit from what I've done if I've forgotten some technique, some practice that I've done, I can go back and look and say, oh, I forgot how to shade. I forgot that shading is a thing, that shadowing, putting gray marker is a nice effect. And also to stipple more, to put more dots down. And these are very full drawings. The drawings that I make now are very different. There's not a lot of dark areas going on. In these pages, there's massive amounts of ink, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why my recent drawings don't have as much ink. I guess I'm more focused on the detail rather than the big shapes, the big picture. I'm more focused on just the dots, just the little squares, bolts, and designs on the mechanism rather than the entire picture. So I'll use more ink. I think that the next few drawings I'll do that. I'll use more ink. And I did some shapes. I got some inspiration from MC Escher and making fisheye view drawings, which none of these really look too fisheye looking, 360 view perspective. But I kind of got inspiration from that and incorporated it. Some more creatures here, some dinosaurs. I'll have to draw more dinosaurs. I think that's a very underrated topic and subject to draw. It's a very underrated idea. Dinosaurs. Drew some cars. I was drawing a lot of cars here. I need to do more of that. Drawing more cars and a combination of motorcycles and cyberpunk tech. More cars on the way. And a lot of weird creatures. Very just wacky. So, yeah, that's the sketchbook here. And I had fun with it. So, that's about all I had to say for this video. And I'll be filling a lot more sketchbooks and trying to flip through a sketchbook every single week until I run out. So, that's all. Goodbye.